What it do, family? It's your girl Tamika, and I am back with another video. Shout out to the family, S&T Squad, Drip Set, what it do. I appreciate you guys for coming back and tuning in. I love you the long way. We about to hop right into this video. Canadian rapper Tory Lanez, aka Daystar Peterson, was just found guilty of 3 felony charges for the 2020 attack on Megan Thee Stallion. Now listen, this case was an entire show. I'm just being honest. And there were a lot of inconsistencies made by all 3 parties involved in this case. And a lot of people want to know, did Tory Lanez's defense fail him? Did the jury get the verdict right? Or was this a complete miscarriage of justice? What we're going to do is we're going to take a deep dive into the whole situation that happened that night. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the things and the inconsistencies from the bloggers all the way down to the original court transcripts. A lot of people got a lot of things wrong, so we're going to discuss all of those things. Tory Lanez came on the scene in 2013 after releasing his mixtapes, Conflicts of My Soul and a 416 Story. And I ain't gonna lie, he started getting a lot of buzz. I probably was one of Tory Lanez's first supporters. His debut studio album, I Told You, came in 2016 and included the singles Say It and Love, which peaked at number 23 and 19 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 2018, Lanez released his second and third studio albums, Memories Don't Die and Love Me Now. His 4th studio album, Chicks Tapes 5, peaked at number 2 on the US Billboard 200. In 2020, he released his 5th studio album, Daystar. And this is the year that everything started to go wrong. Now, he had just jumped on our song with Jack Harlow, and that thing was popping, was going crazy for him. And then the shooting happened, and everybody feel like it was the wrong call.
It's not over. God does not lose. Never. And even though we've come to this juncture, trust me, you will see that our God does not fail.
This is not the
first time that this is wickedness.
Megan P, aka Megan Thee Stallion. She a rapper and songwriter. Now, she's originally from Houston, Texas. She first started getting attention when videos of her freestyling became popular on Instagram. Now, Megan signed to 300 Entertainment in 2018. She released a mixtape called Fever. And then in 2019, the extended play Sugar. 2020, you know what I mean, is when things started to go wrong for your girl as well. Now, her and Tory Lanez had a friendship first. We started seeing them on lives together, and you can just see that they were really cool. But something went wrong that night. We're going to talk about it.
Shot o'clock. This is an official shot o'clock. Live right here on Quarantine Radio. Quarantine. This has just turned into Quarantine Radio in about 5 seconds. Quarantine. Should we add people to the live? At this point, I think maybe you never know. This is a live shot.
Shot o'clock.
To the Stallion. Live in Quarantine Radio. It's been a while since we have said this voice. It's been a while. It has been a while. Megan Thee Stallion, live, taking shots of Reposado.
Now, this was one of many lives that Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez was seen together in. I mean, there was twerking videos. She spent a lot of time with the dude when it came down to Quarantine Radio. Now, you got to keep in mind, this was 2020. Tory Lanez had Quarantine Radio going crazy. But as you can see, they were very friendly, cordial. They seemed to have good chemistry.
Cause he acting fucking stupid. Nigga, I know T-Pain out in his hole. Get him! He better stop playing with me.
Now, whatever Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez had going on personally, the lines definitely crossed that night. Now, you got to keep in mind, both of these two were single at this particular time. Tory Lanez had just jumped on the remix Was Poppin' with Jack Harlow, and Megan Thee Stallion was just coming off a feature with Beyonce. So it's safe to say that both of their careers was in full-blown mode at this particular time. And then they made a decision to attend Kylie Jenner's get-together. Now, this is where the third party is going to intersect. Kelsey, Megan's former BFF, accompanied her to this shindig. Tory Lanez, he arrived a little bit later. Now, I'm going to play it live because I want you guys to have some context on how the chemistry was that night. Now, EJ King, Megan Thee Stallion, former hairstylist, testified that she was very, very belligerent that night. But I also want you to keep in mind about this guy that's going to approach them. He's going to say, hey, we got to turn this music down. The neighbors are starting to complain. I'm only telling you this because I want to uncover everything from that night.
For 5 minutes. You said what?
EJ King, Megan Thee Stallion, former hairstylist, he testified that Meg was very drunk that night, that she was very belligerent, and she in fact could have been. But in this particular live, she seemed to have it together. Everybody seemed to be vibing, everything seemed to be cool. You can see Tory Lanez in the background, and he admitted on his Daystar album that when he was in the pool, he was looking at Kylie Jenner like a whole snack. So I think that this particular clip right here was the beginning to the end. I pointed out the man and the complaint about the music because I wanted you guys to also be very open-minded to the fact that Megan Thee Stallion did not seem to be the only complainant that night. You understand? She was not only said to be allegedly belligerent, but they had also got calls from neighbors due to the music. Now this is where everything goes left because somehow, some way, they all had to get in this truck here. And that was Tory Lanez driver, Megan Thee Stallion, Kelsey, and then you had Tory Lanez. And this video right here captured the moments after the shooting happened. Now, due to YouTube and its copyright policies, I cannot play this video in its entirety, okay? However, there are some things that stood out. You can definitely tell that Meg Thee Stallion was bleeding from her foot. So when Kelsey said she couldn't recall if Meg was bleeding in the car or bleeding period, that was like beyond me. She also was asking Meg if she was okay. Now, was she asking her because she fought her, shot her, or did Tory do it? Now, at the end of that particular clip, you're going to hear someone asking Megan Thee Stallion if she's okay. The voice that you're hearing in the audio is Megan Thee Stallion's former best friend, Kelsey Nicole. Now, we're going to talk a lot more about Kelsey Nicole in part 2. We're going to get into her character. We're going to get into her testimony, the one that she originally gave, and then the one that she gave in September. We're going to get into some of the ties that she have with some of the Megan Thee Stallion enemies, because all of that is going to have relevance when it comes down to this particular case. Now, here's my theory. I don't think that either one of them was going to tell on each other that night. And the reason that I said that is because when you see the police pull Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez over, she had already been shot. So this says to me that they had to fuse whatever they had going on because everybody got back in the car. Where things went wrong is that they did not anticipate for the police to pull them over. Inconsistency number 1. A lot of people sometimes when they hear the word shot, they automatically just believe that that is a bullet going through actual flesh, not understanding that there's a lot of ramifications that can come from a weapon being fired. I want you guys to take a look at something, because a lot of people was having a hard time understanding how Megan Thee Stallion was able to twerk on stage 5 days later. As you can see here in this particular clip, this is 5-10 minutes maybe max after she's shot, and she's actually walking on her actual injuries right now. So it's not far-fetched to see a woman twerking on stage 5 days later. I'm pointing that out because this was the start of her becoming Meg the Liar.
What was the nature of your relationship with Tory Lanez? Because he has led people to believe that it was a sexual relationship, that it was, that you two were dating. What was the nature of
We were not dating. We were really close. We were friends. We hung out like every day. And his mom passed too. So when I felt like we were bonding over that. And
did you have an intimate relationship with him?
Like sexual?
Yeah. Megan, did you have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? Yes, that's my question.
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
When I was watching this interview and Gayle King asked Megan Thee Stallion flat out, did you have an intimate sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? I can tell right away from her body language, from the way that she hesitated and the way that she tensed up, that the answer that she gave was complete cap. And I think a lot of us felt that. And that was probably the start on when she began to lose a lot of credibility. But I have to ask you, do lying to Gayle King, but telling the truth under oath, does that give her any credibility back? Let's talk about it in the comments. Social media can be a gift and a curse sometimes. It can be used as a tool to point us in the right direction. It can also be used as a tool to lead us in a very wrong direction as well. When it comes down to this Tory Lanez case, I have to admit, in my personal opinion, I feel like social media contributed to the destruction of Tory Lanez. Now, we got to be honest with ourselves. Everybody that was involved that particular night acted like a complete damn fool, and that's my personal opinion. I do not feel like nobody's character trumped the others that particular night. I feel like they were all drunk. I feel like they were all drugging. And I feel like that was the number one thing that led to them making all the wrong decisions that night. No matter how much mayhem was going on, they still had loyalty to each other. Nobody that was in that party called the police. They did not anticipate the police pulling them over, and they did not anticipate TMZ obtaining aerial footage and regular footage of the event that surrounded them all. When the videos came out, everybody started scrambling. Egos got involved. And of course, what are you going to do when you're at the peak of your career? You don't want to stain on your character like this. So when asked, Tory was like, I don't know what nobody's talking about. No shoot never occurred. But what it did, it made Meg look like the liar.
It ain't
which
like
made her do this.
Oh, let me go run and tell my business to the motherfucking internet. Let me go run and tell my business to the police. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never been that type of person. Like, but I'm not gonna let y'all keep playing in my face. And I'm not gonna let this keep playing in my face either. So, since y'all so worried about it, yes, this Tory shot me. You shot me. And you got your publicists and your people going to these blogs lying and stop lying. Why lie? I don't understand. I tried to keep the situation off the internet, but you dragging it. You dry shot me. Like, everybody in the car, it's only 4 in the car. Me, you, my homegirl, and your security. Everybody in the car arguing. I'm in the front seat, this in the back seat. I get out the car, I'm done arguing. I don't want to argue no more. I get out. I'm walking away. This from out the back seat of the car starts shooting me. You shot me. I ain't get cut by no glass, but let me tell you why they saying that. When the police, because the people in the neighborhood, there's a witness. When the police came, because the neighbors called the police, this did not happen at Kylie's house. This happened damn near back at the house I was staying at. I was just trying to get home. We was 5 minutes away from my spot. The police come. I'm scared. All this going on with the police is shooting my for anything. The police was literally killing black people for no mother reason. Soon as the police tell us all get out the mother car, the police is really aggressive. You think I'm about to tell the police that we, us black people, got a gun in the car? You want me to tell the laws that we got a gun in the car so they can shoot all of us up? I'm scared. Helicopter over us and some more shit.
After that particular live, the internet was in complete shambles. There were people who immediately took to the defense of Megan Thee Stallion, but then there were others who felt like Megan Thee Stallion was a complete liar. You got to keep in mind, her original testimony to the police, she said that she had stepped on glass. When Gayle King asked her, why would you lie to the police? She said that it was because it was at a time where there were a lot of different assaults on people of color, black men in particular. And when the police pulled up after them and it was a gun in the car, she lied to protect not only herself, but to protect Tory as well. Now, the morning after the shooting occurred, Kelsey Nicole, which is Megan Thee Stallion's best friend at the time, she sent a text message to Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard, who was not present that night, saying, help, Tory shot Meg. Now, you got to keep in mind, this text message came the morning after. This would be 3 days before Megan Thee Stallion took to her IG, making the live that I showed you guys earlier. So as of right now, Kelsey Nicole will be the first person to put the gun in Tory Lanez's hands. Now I have to ask you guys, if you're out and about with your best friend and an injury occurred, and your best friend approaches you and say Tory Lanez shot you, who are you truly believing in that particular moment? Are you going to believe your best friend, or are you going to believe the dude that allegedly shot you? Now, the reason why I'm asking you guys this, because I have to paint all scenarios for people to have a thorough understanding on how easy it is for a situation to go wrong in real time. Drop it down below. I really want to know, who are you believing in that particular moment? To me, Kelsey Nicole is the person that put the wheels in motion to pretty much solidify that Tory Lanez shot Meg Thee Stallion. Now, after that text message was sent, this will probably be the last time we will hear from Kelsey Nicole for a very, very long while. And I'm not going to lie to you. It was a massive ball of confusion on the internet. I mean, Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez was going back and forth. And I think a lot of us was in complete confusion. And the only person that can provide some hindsight to what happened that night was being very quiet. She had pled the fifth. She wasn't saying anything at this particular time. Tory Lanez took to his IG. And I have to be honest, he never once said he didn't shoot Megan, but he could not understand why she didn't say anything.
Yo, I lied to the cops, I lied to the doctors. Let me tell you why they saying there's glass in my feet, though. Because I lied to the cops, I lied to the doctors, I lied to this, that, and the third. Ladies and gentlemen, I need us to really understand what she's saying here. You mean to tell me that these medical doctors that are in an ambulance that work on-site injuries 24/7 for all day, that have to know every type of on-site injury, the specifications on the type of on-site injuries, so they can treat it right? You mean to tell me you lied to these people and they just treated you for glass when you had a bullet in you? If that's what you're saying, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say they were dumb. You mean to tell me that the cops who were called for a gunshot in a Suburban or whatever the car was found that same Suburban and found a gun in it, see you leaking, and didn't check you for bullet wounds? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say they were dumb. You then further said, yo, I'm at cotton mouth like a motherfucker smoking on it. You then say, oh, well, I was trying to protect this black man, so I never said nothing. I didn't want them to shoot me. I didn't want them to kill me. Okay, but when me and Kelsey and Quan were over there being questioned, you were in a stretcher. No one is going to shoot you in a stretcher. You had plenty of time to tell the cops that you were in danger. You had plenty of time. I'm not protecting somebody who just heinously shot me after a conversation that we just had. My mind is not on protecting you. I'm bleeding from my feet. I'm thinking about protecting my own life, and I'm in danger. Why would you not say that with 2 feet bleeding from 2 bullet holes, from what you're saying? I don't understand that. And then there's this whole narrative of, like, I didn't want to put this black man on I didn't want to get him in trouble. Like, I'm saying? I'm protecting this man, and he keeps talking. And so now, he keeps getting his media team to start doing certain things to make me look incredible and to smear me.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. I was on that live, okay? And that was the live that kind of swung the ball back into Tory's court, because that was a question that I also had. Like, why wouldn't you say anything? Now, this was before we heard her reasoning on why she didn't say anything, but it gave me questions. But it was something that stuck out to me that Tory Lanez said in his live. I'm not
protecting somebody who just heinously shot me after a conversation that we just had. My mind is not on protecting you. I'm bleeding from my feet. I'm thinking about protecting my own life, and I'm in danger.
After the verdict was read, I got to be completely honest. I had the same question for him. If Kelsey Nicole shot Megan Thee Stallion, then why are you protecting her? This woman has you facing a possible 22 years in prison, being taken away from your son, your livelihood. Why reward Kelsey Nicole with your protection is my question.
Out here playing with my jeopardy of my life and freedom. Y'all are doing this for the internet. This is my life. I'm the only person with the case. So at the end of the day, when you sit here, y'all, like, I'm not gonna jeopardize my son, even if I know, regardless of what I know, it will come to light, and the truth will come to light. And no issue with that. I have no issue with that. But I need y'all to understand, like, I'm a human being, bro. Like, this shit hurts, bro. Seeing my friends, people that I had on quarantine radio, be people that were just like my real, like, at least people I thought were my friends, like people I thought were like cool people, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, everybody just shunned me.
When you watch that particular live, Tory Lanez does not shy away from the fact that his freedom is in jeopardy. When you are a black man, you already have strikes against you for just being a black man. So when you're facing 22 years and possibly being taken away from your son, you are your family's breadwinner. If you go away, everything stops. So I have a hard time wrapping my mind around why give a woman that much protection, that much loyalty. We have to keep in mind, Kelsey Nicole was in a whole relationship when the situation was occurring. Everybody feel like Kelsey and Meg was having a cat fight over dick at this particular time. Now, could Megan been mad? Hell yeah, she could. But why protect Kelsey? That's the question. Now, when Tory was released from prison, he sent text messages to Kelsey Nicole and to Meg Thee Stallion, okay? Now, in this particular text, this is what he says. He says, 7 minutes, phone died, 3 minutes out. She never responds. He comes back and said, Meg, I know you probably never gonna talk to me again, but I genuinely want you to know I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart, and I was just too drunk. Nonetheless, shit should have never happened, and I can't change what I did. I just feel horrible. Inconsistency number 2. A lot of people is feeling like the context of this text message is what was said over the Jailhouse call, and that was totally false. And that's where a lot of things were getting very iffy when it came down to people that was reporting on this case. When he actually made the phone calls to Megan Thee Stallion and Kelsey Nicole from jail, he was telling them not to say anything. And you can find the context of the Jailhouse calls right online. So my question is, you're calling them and you're telling them, please don't say anything. Now, why would you be begging them to not say anything because you were smashing them both? That is the first call you make from jail? It seems a little weird to me, okay? Now, the biggest problem that I have in this particular situation is why all of the apologies to Kelsey Nicole? She had a whole man at home. So who you was smashing really is not any of her concern. If we're being technically honest, you smashing Kylie is not even Megan's concern because you both were single at the time. This text message came after the Jailhouse calls, and a lot of people was confusing this, so I had to make it known. Now listen, Megan Thee Stallion was in fact injured that night. Whether the bullet went through her whole foot or it was just fragments from the bullet, it does not matter. An injury occurred because a weapon was fired. That's it. That's all. I'm seeing a lot of people trying to downplay that fact, and it's very troubling to me. That's like a bomb going off. Sometimes people do not get hit by the actual bomb, but they get hit by the shrapnel. It still doesn't mean that they wasn't bombed. So you guys got to keep that in mind when you're trying to downplay the injury. Without the weapon being fired, we would not even be here today. So we have to keep that in mind. So for 2 years, she was being called a liar. And now the prosecution and the defense can now confirm that she was in fact injured because of the shrapnel from the bullets, okay? Now, she got called a liar so much that she ended up releasing the foot, okay? Now, as you can see, she did sustain the injury that night, okay? Now, would this make it to where she could not walk? No. Would this make it to where she could not twerk? No. So when people is like, if she was shot, how was she twerking? That's why. At the end of the day, there was truly no winner in this particular situation. We have a black woman that will continue to get crucified no matter what the verdict read, and she was a true victim. I feel like when it came down to this case, Megan Thee Stallion's sexual history was put on trial more than the actual shooting. And that's a sad, sad situation. On the flip side, we have a black man that's hanging in the balance, that is fighting for his freedom. And allegedly, according to him and public opinion, they do not feel like Tory Lanez was in fact the shooter. That leaves us to Kelsey Nicole. Now, in my personal opinion, Kelsey Nicole is the #1 culprit in this case. In part 2, we're going to unravel Kelsey Nicole. We're going to talk about her character. We're going to talk about her ties. We're going to talk about her testimony. We're going to talk about the possibility of perjury. We're going to talk about the lady that was always silent while everybody was pointing the finger at Tory and Meg. Y'all stay tuned.